here? I don't know.
I'm in school.
You're in school.
I'm in school.
You can share a privilege. Because the truth is, you can be in school and be all the way on the less accepted side, and you may have had to do some things financially to get here, but absolutely. In school.
I have scholarships.
You have scholarships.
In school.
In school.
Well, I have a clothing line.
He has a clothing line?
Give us a plug.
And his website.
Oh, the website is... The website is www.bot.net. If you want business cards, I have some as well. After all this, just let me know.
My mom says this to me every time I'm upset or complaining. She's like, well, you woke up today. So,
Yeah, that's right.
I have a phone.
Nice. That's good. Thank you. So, what I want to say is that all of us, and you'll see this in Campus Connection and in this room, all of us have equal opportunity to pain, trauma, crap in our life, okay? I could be sitting up here where you are, and I could have come from a family where I have a lot of trauma, a lot of crap's happened to me, and I have really suffered from it. That is an equal opportunity crap stuff, okay? But it is still different when you got all that crap going on and this person's got all that crap going on. This person's got that crap going on and less accepted social identities. So it's not about like living the good life up there, nothing wrong happening. You can have so much pain and sorrow up there, and so much pain and sorrow up there and back there, so much pain and sorrow, or so much joy and happiness. Some people actually make it through their lives without a lot of pain and trauma. Although I haven't met very many by the time they get to be my age. It's true, I'm sorry. It's not about avoiding trauma and pain. It's about resiliency. How many of you in here, and I'm not going to call on you, feel like you are resilient through something that has gone on for you in your life? That's resiliency. And you could be sitting anywhere in this line. Thank you very much. Cheers. You just recycle that basketball thing. Okay. Can I ask you a favor? Would you pull up the 5-minute clip, and I'm asking you to do this from the whole class, even though I haven't asked you to do it ahead of time, so hopefully it'll come up fast. It's the Ohio State University. Tell me when you're ready. I'll look at what else I was going to say. I want to say something while you're looking for this about our brains. I had the amazing pleasure to be on the faculty with Archbishop Desmond Tutu for 100 days. Best experience ever. He told a story that he tells publicly, so I have permission to tell it, that, oh, do you have it? Okay, Ohio State University implicit bias video. Should have thought about this ahead of time, but it just seemed like I should show it. Nope, scroll down. Oh, I think I just saw it. Bring it up really good, just for a second. That's it. Break it. You have to start it all the way. Okay, hang on one second. Let me tell you my tutu story, then we're gonna watch this. Okay, so my tutu story is that, so he tells a story that it was, he already had the Nobel Peace Prize. He'd already paid a huge part in apartheid and the ending of that, which is still a huge struggle, the aftermath in South Africa. And he said he got on a plane and because he flies all over giving talks and inspiring people. And he got on the plane and he saw the pilot, and the pilot was a black man. And he thought, damn, that's awesome. There's a black man as the pilot. He shook his hand and he sat down. And then they got into what he said was the worst turbulence he's ever experienced. And he thought that something really bad might happen. And he said, my brain said to me, I wonder if this guy is as qualified. I wonder if he just had that instant thought of worry. And I love that he tells that story because even Archbishop Desmond Tutu is a human being. And he's a black human being who had an oppressive biased thought about a black human being. Now, when a black human being has a bias about a black human being, that doesn't change the game. That's not equal. That's not same, both sides. But it's worth noting that our brains are really powerful and our lived experiences are really powerful. Okay, we're gonna watch this really quick thing on institutional bias. I think it's 5 minutes.
Members of the Ohio State University community believe that diversity is an important institutional goal. We also recognize that unconscious biases influence behaviors even when people have the very best intentions. Even when they understand how important diversity is to the reasons we are here, enriching student learning and making breakthroughs in research. So what are these unconscious biases and how do they operate? Let's peel back a layer and look at schemas. We all, regardless of gender or race, perceive and treat people based on their race, gender, social group, etc. We have expectations, judgments, hypotheses, oftentimes unconscious, that influence how we see people. These are our schemas. An unconscious bias is at play when someone says relatively few qualified minority candidates are available and these are highly sought after, so we're unlikely to recruit them. Schemas can lead us to faulty reasoning that is not supported by available data. There are, in fact, qualified minority candidates, and bias prevents them from being hired in the proportion available. Let's look at some examples of how schemas or biases limit applicant pools in recruitment and selection processes. When evaluating identical application packages, male and female university psychology professors preferred 2-to-1 to hire Brian over Karen as an assistant professor. When evaluating a more experienced record at the point of promotion to tenure, reservations were expressed 4 times more often when the name was female. Letters of recommendation are critical to securing jobs and securing promotion, and bias is prevalent. Letters for men tend to be longer and contain more references to the applicant's CV, publications, patients, and colleagues. The letters for women, on the other hand, are shorter and contain more references to personal life and more doubt raisers such as hedges, faint praise, and irrelevancies. Statements like these appear in letters. It's amazing how much she's accomplished. It appears her health is stable. She's close to my wife. One male instructor provided a guest lecture to 8 sections of a communication course. In half the lectures, he referred to my partner Jennifer. In the other half to my partner Jason. The straight instructor received 22% more positive comments than the gay instructor. The straight instructor received 81% fewer negative comments than the gay instructor. Applicants with names that are more likely to be perceived as African American had to send 15 resumes to get a callback, compared with 10 needed by applicants with white-sounding names. White names yield as many more callbacks as an additional 8 years of experience. Biases influence the rate at which the inventions of faculty women are commercialized and lead to startup companies. Male academics are much more likely than their female counterparts to start companies to exploit their inventions. In an experiment to see whether tech licensing officers in leading research universities favor the inventions of male inventors, identical invention proposals were sent out, half with a female name and half with a male name. Although the inventions were identical, the licensing officers were significantly more likely to dissuade the female inventor from starting a company. In a study in the American Journal of Sociology using identical applications, evaluators rated mothers as less competent and committed to paid work than women who were not mothers. Prospective employers called mothers back about half as often as those who are not mothers. Mothers were less likely to be recommended for higher promotion and management and were offered lower starting salaries than women who were not mothers. Fathers were not disadvantaged in the hiring process. Fathers were seen as more committed to paid work and offered higher starting salaries than men who were not fathers. So how can we chip away at pervasive schemas and achieve a diverse faculty of outstanding scholars and teachers who represent different genders, cultures, races, ethnicities, backgrounds, and work and life experiences? Biases hide in plain sight. They are prevalent and appear in our everyday interactions and decisions. This video presentation was the first step in building your awareness of unconscious biases. Be mindful of them as you serve on selection and promotion and tenure committees. Write letters of support, interact with your colleagues and students, and serve the university in all the many ways that you do.
Cool, thank you. So that is just a really fast example of institutional bias, the institution of universities. And even though they listed a handful of studies at the bottom, there's piles of studies, repeated studies, studies that stay the same over time, okay? I can show you a clip on the court system. I can show you a clip on the education system, all major institutions. I know here at CSU, and I know in the court system that Jenny is going to come and talk about, we are working so hard to chip away with these, chip away at these biases, chip away at these schemes, which is why we're kicking off our training, the Friday training anyway, with talking about this. And we're going to be talking about this so that we can do the best job, because when this kind of missed interaction, intention versus impact, not understanding the world you walk in, that's a recipe for a breakdown in a mentor-mentee relationship. And so we want to just really pay attention to those things, put our backpacks in the front. So I'm going to leave you with a few things. One is, so when they got in a circle here, we learned about each one, right? Sometime in your pre-lab, you're going to watch a TED Talk called The Danger of a Single Story. And I feel like that's a really good motto to live by, is don't single story. There's never a single story. So we single story for a moment to understand people's identities and how that might have an impact on how they walk through life, what their lived experience might be. But then we want to get to know each person. And then we find out all kinds of things. So we don't want to be sticky pads, we want to be legal pads. We want to learn lots about people, not a little bit about a person. And the further back you are in the chairs, people tend to sum you up more. They think they know what you're like because you're identified as queer. They think they know what you're like because you're from Mexico. They think they know what you're like. And so we sum people up in the back chairs more than we do in the front chairs. So we have to work a little harder to get to know people. So bias management, having some humility. I do this kind of diversity training in my profession all the time, and I make mistakes every day. Try to have some humility with people. There is not anybody that I know, even people that work their entire careers at this stuff, that are the experts. We're all working for social justice, and the more humility that we have, the higher impact we'll have. So if I have let's do the ability one for a minute. If I have a youth, and that youth says, oh man, she's so retarded. Now if I say to them, don't say that. I can't believe you said that. It's so rude. Is that youth like, well, I won't say what that youth would be saying, but you don't want to let it go either, right? Just have some humility where you say, you know what? I used to say that too. Or that used to be more common that people would say that. And then somebody pointed out to me that when you say that, it really offends people because they might have a cognitive disability or have some ability challenges in terms of cognition. Or somebody might have a sister or brother. Or so let's not use that word. And if you're mad at that person, let's think of what else you could do. First of all, you could just say it in your own head and don't say anything out loud. And even in your own head, maybe you could just say, whatever, we'll work on that as a mentor-mentee pair. So we don't want to let stuff go by. We don't let racism, sexism, homophobia, we don't let it want to go by. We also want to be like calling people out. I can't believe you said that. You really, you're not going to use that pronoun? I reminded you twice. We create this like scared to make a mistake. We don't want to be scared to make a mistake. Mistakes are welcome here. And we don't want to call people out. We want to call people in. We want to clear things up and learn more. So that's the kind of environment we want to have. We want to all get better at this. We're not going to do like that white fragility thing where I'm afraid to say anything to you because I don't want to upset you because it feels so shameful to be up in the front. We don't want you to feel ashamed in the front. We want you to understand how you got here and look back. Okay? I'm out of time. Thank you. Okay, now here's the bummer part. We're not going to give you a break. But what you're going to do is stand up and, danger of a single story, turn to the person that you don't know, anyone that you don't know, and tell them 3 things about yourself that might surprise you. Stand up, stretch, 3 things that might surprise you.
That those people are sitting on their correct knife. Avery's not.
That may go tell them.
Yeah. Oh, he's already on the phone. Monday night? Yeah. Cool.
Jenny, bring your truck driver. Get your set up.
My name is Mackenzie, for those of you who I have not yet met. I'm the case manager and the program manager. So you've probably gotten a lot of emails from me, but I'm really excited to get to know each of you and work with you as you get to know your mentees. Right now, everyone is paired, and we have probably 8 youth on the wait list. So if in the event it doesn't work out for your mentee to come, rest assured I have a backup plan, and we have several youth who are really eager to get a mentor. I've been involved with Campus Connection since 2011, so the second semester that we were running. And I've been in this position for 2 years. I love getting to know all of the new mentors and mentor coaches, so I'm just really excited to work with you all. And I have a few other announcements, and then I'll be in lab next week going over weekly progress reports and how you're going to document your time with your youth. And then I'm also going to have your youth files so you can sort of see some of the information about them that we know coming in, although that certainly doesn't give us any sort of a picture of who they are. So first of all, Jaren wanted me to get a few photos that are missing. So I'm wondering if on Wednesday night we have Hattie and Brittany here. Raise your hand if you're here. Oh, great. Well, maybe when we take a break, Jane will get your photo. Okay, cool. Got that. And then Tatum on Tuesday, are you here? Oh, awesome. We need your photo too. And that is it. We also have a few food bank payments. Where's Sarah?
She's in the restroom.
Oh, this is bad timing then. Sarah has a few names of students who have endorsed their own check or money order to the food bank, and so it's not valid, so we need to figure out a new plan if you signed the back of your check or money order.
You're good.
Okay. And then my last announcement is, where'd my list go? Oh, if you are on 2 nights serving as a mentor on one night and a mentor coach on another night, please go to mentor coach training, and then you can watch what you're missing because we're going to be filming both. So that is all that I have, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of training. Here you go.
Okay, I hate these things, and I don't want to use it.
Oh, it's not on the big screen. Did you want it on the big screen?
Well, I got it. I figured it.
You know how to do it?
I'm good. Okay, so can everybody hear me? Yeah. All right. First, I'm going to shout out to our friends' clothing line, bot-man.net. That's cool. And I went and checked it out, and it is cool. You should go there. I think that's the first thing. Can you pull this up? Oh, yeah. Okay, one more announcement.
Mentor and coach training is actually right now. So,
Wait.
mentor coach.
I'll meet you.
Office, okay, District Attorney's Office. So I'm here to tell you all about the juvenile DA experience and philosophy and kind of our perspective and where these kids kind of come from, some of the kids. So kids, you've learned, can get referred to Campus Connections through a number of different agencies in the community, directly from schools, directly from Department of Human Services. They can get referred by different entities with whom they're working. And one of the places that they can come from is my office. So my office is the DA's office. What is the role of the DA? Yay, everybody in this room has to have seen at least one episode of Law & Order, right? Like SVU or Criminal Impact or all the other ones, and it's on reruns on TNT like 24/7. Yeah? Okay, it's kind of like that. Not really. I wish I had that dum-dum that goes around after every scene. That would be really great. But they do have a lot of things that are correct. We have the role of enforcing the laws, the criminal laws in the state of Colorado. So we are actually law enforcement officers. I have a little badge that says I'm a law enforcement officer. It's gold, it's in a wallet. I leave it in my underwear drawer so I don't lose it. We protect the rights and the safety of the people, that is all the people. When I go to court, I stand up and I represent the people of the state of Colorado. That includes everybody who's here. It includes whoever is the victim of a crime, and it includes whoever I am prosecuting as well, whether that be a juvenile or an adult. Our job is to seek fairness through the judicial process. So we are upholding defendants' rights, we are upholding victims' rights, we are upholding juveniles' rights, and we are trying to ensure community safety. We are trying to ensure that people get the same sentence if they commit the same type of crime. So basically, if one person comes in with a DUI and gets 15 days of jail and 12 months of probation and a certain number of alcohol classes, the second person that comes in and has that exact same circumstance doesn't get a year in jail and no probation, because that's just not okay. We do have, under the Victims' Rights Amendment, there are 33 states in this country that have Victims' Rights Amendments in their constitutions, in their state constitutions. We ensure and protect the rights of victims to be heard and provided with respect and information through the process of a criminal prosecution. We assume a leadership role in community crime prevention. We work with all other law enforcement agencies, CSUPD, FCPS, Larimer County Sheriffs, Lovell Police Department, Estes Park Police Department. Timoth has an officer, Johnstown has a couple officers, Windsor PD has some stuff in Larimer County. All these guys and lovely ladies that are amazing officers, and they get paid not enough for what they do. There's a reason that I do what I do, because I get to stay in the courtroom. Those guys are out doing the hard work. Oftentimes, if a defendant or a juvenile is not represented, we also ensure the rights of that individual. So if we're walking a person through the process and saying, okay, you don't have a defense attorney, let me explain to you your rights. You don't have to talk to me. Please don't talk to me. Because if you at some point get an attorney, they're going to be mad that you talked to me in the first place. So don't talk to me about the case. Don't talk to me about what you did. Let's figure out why you got here. A little bit about how our office is set up, just so if you guys, I know some of y'all have done your court observation. I saw some of you in there yesterday. I know some of you may still have it to do. The way that our office is set up, there are about 34, 35 attorneys at this point. It's grown a lot. I've been there since 2004. I went to college in Colorado Springs, I went to law school in Denver, and then I went to this office, and that's basically it. I've just stayed here. I expect that when I hit my 50th year of service, I'll get the little gold watch and they'll kick me out or something. But we have an elected district attorney. He is an elected official. Currently, that's Cliff Riedel. He is serving his second 4-year term. He is term limited at the end of that, and we will have a new district attorney starting in January of 2019. We have a first assistant district attorney, that's Mitch Murray currently. Second assistant district attorney is Emily Humphrey. She also oversees county court. County court is adult misdemeanors and petty offenses. So, I'm going to ask an embarrassing question. I promise not to prosecute any of you. Anybody had alcohol before they turned 21? Yeah. Okay. If you got caught, you might have gotten a ticket. You might have gotten sent to court. County court is where you want to go. A lot of our kids are in this population where they've had alcohol before they turned 21, and our kids before they turned 18. Sometimes they've had marijuana, sometimes they've had harder drugs, and so they are all in our juvenile court. There are 4 chief deputy district attorneys in our office, 1 for the sex assault and crimes against children unit, 1 for adult district court, 1 for juvenile court, that's me, and then 1 for our appellate post-conviction work. We have district court deputy DAs. They've been there with the office for generally at least 3 years before they're up in adult felony court or in juvenile court, and then we have our county court DAs as well. This is all the boring structural stuff. I promise that some of this will get fun. Okay? The general overview of juvenile court, our goal as DAs is we're trying to maintain public safety, we're trying to hold kids accountable and make sure that they are rehabilitated and they are taking accountability for whatever it is that they did, and we are trying to take into account their best interests. So, everybody that raised their hands that had alcohol before they were 21 has committed a crime, okay? So that's one of the implicit biases that I think a lot of people have. These are people in the juvenile justice system. These are people in the criminal justice system that we're dealing with, right? Oh, I'm scared. They're not bad, okay? There are people that made a bad choice. There are kids that made a bad choice. Your mentees are awesome, awesome, awesome kids. And I am sad because in my role, I don't really get to know a lot of them very well. I get to see them, I get to maybe meet their families, I get to try and figure out with very limited information, how do we best help you through this, and how can we get you out of here so you never come back. Every time I get a kid in to meet with me about their case, the first thing I say is my goal is to figure out what got you here and get you out of here so you never come back. My goal is to not have kids to prosecute because they're not out committing crimes. I would love that. I would love to work myself out of a job. It's not happening and we keep getting new crops of kids. But kids make mistakes. Kids make mistakes. Grown-ups make mistakes. I also admit to kids that come in, every single person in the room that's sitting there, including me, including their parent, including their guardian, including their older sister or brother, has made mistakes. It's about what they do when they come through it. Collaboration, it's totally cheesy, but it totally takes a village. And I am a parent to two small children, elementary school age, so they won't be your mentees quite yet, but my son's getting close. He's pushing boundaries left and right. But it takes a village. And when you become a parent, or when you have grown up and seen that, you know that your family probably had a sitter that helped them out so that your parents could go out on a date, or you had a teacher that was particularly invested, or you had a coach that was particularly helpful and supported you, or you knew that the neighbor was going to check in on you when your parents were out of town for that weekend, so you didn't throw the huge rager that you wanted to, you just had a few friends over. But it totally takes a village. In our community, we are very, very lucky. Who are the players? Does anybody know this picture? Oh, I'm so sad. Okay, let me give you a movie recommendation. It's the weekend. Y'all have some sort of streaming service on any of your devices, right? Okay, go and get The Usual Suspects, all right? This is a phenomenal movie. Phenomenal. One of my favorite movies, probably top 5. You have to go watch this movie. And it's got just amazing acting and amazing script, and it's fun, and just go watch it, okay? So this is one of my favorite movies ever, and as I put it in the PowerPoint, I was realizing not a single one of you would know what I was talking about. So, who are the players? This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about collaboration. We have all sorts of different agencies working with our kids. We have our police departments, and really on the front lines of our police departments are our SROs working with our youth. There are school resource officers in Loveland and in Fort Collins schools. Every high school, every middle school